guys, welcome back to Tanisha's Chronicles, my online diary. It's nice to see you again. If you haven't been here before, I think you should click the subscribe button. Today we're going to be talking about healing, resilience, and the backwards law. What is the backwards law, you ask? Well, stay tuned and you'll find out. I've been reading this book called The Subtle Art of not giving a very rude word. We won't say the word. I don't remember the author though. But yeah, it was sent to me because apparently I care about things too much. I really do. So someone sent me the book, and so yeah, I've been reading it, and it mentioned Alan Watts's backwards law. So I was like, oh, what's that like? So I went to go research it. So in a nutshell, the backwards law is essentially the more you pursue, the more you desire, the more you try to create positive experiences for yourself, is actually the more you end up creating negative experiences for yourself, the less happy you feel and the less satisfied you feel. The way the book phrased it was, wanting positive experience is a negative experience, accepting negative experience is a positive experience. And the key word that he used for me, or she, I can't remember who the author was, but yeah, the key word that the author used was accepting. And I was just like, right, like, because obviously the book is called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a. So I was thinking, oh, it's gonna teach me how to be nonchalant. Essentially, it's gonna teach me, I don't have to care. But essentially, what the book is trying to teach you or talk about is how to shift your focus to what you should care about, where you should be channeling your energy instead of looking at the minute things, the things that don't really matter, the things that cause us what's the word I'm looking for? The things that create stress that's just not needed, like unnecessary stress. So yeah, so for me it really like hit a nerve, because as I said, I really care about things, and I will sit here and I will overthink and overanalyze every detail of every conversation, every experience. I'll even create scenarios and then overanalyze those scenarios. Listen, I care too much. And I was just reading this book and I was just like, right, this book is actually trying to draw me out. And then I was like, no, let's not think like that. How do we shift that so we can now overcome and challenge our mindset? And I thought about healing and resilience and growth, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like this really fits into that. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, how we fit the backwards law to benefit our mental health. So yeah, keep watching. So how can we use this law and place it into our lives to begin to heal? So as I said, the biggest word that he said was accepting. So it's all about accepting that you feel a certain way, accepting that pain is inevitable, and learning to, as I said, shift the focus and shift how you think about it. So let me take it back and put myself into the equation. If you know Tanisha, I think I've said this a gazillion. I do not like negative feelings, don't like negative experiences. I will avoid it at all costs. And I have 3 methods of avoidance, 3 methods of protection, 3 methods of almost dismissing my feelings so that I feel better and feel happy, which in the long run just doesn't work out ever. So the first one I do is emotional detachment. Well, technically false emotional detachment, because I like I don't care, yeah, but I care. Then I get angry that I care. Then I get even more angry that I'm angry that I care. And do you see the consistent downward spiral? Like it just never ends. And then I just end up feeling anxious, angry, upset. I'm crying. I'm miserable. I'm irritable. Like it just doesn't work out. The second one, I create situations in my head. So I think the worst, so that if the worst happens, I'm prepared for the worst. And a friend pointed out to me the other day, Tinsha, you're just putting yourself through the pain twice. Like, there's no need. There really is no need. We need to be hopeful. But for some reason, I am a hopeful person, yeah, but there's actually times where I can be very pessimistic. And I say it's to protect myself, but then I make myself more miserable, because I literally create every possible scenario that could ever happen, and then I'll overthink that scenario as though it's already happened, and yeah, it just doesn't work out. And then my personal favorite, which it really shouldn't be, is isolation. I will block and cut everybody off. I will isolate myself. I won't answer my phone. I will turn off notifications. I will act like I am alone in this world. I won't talk to anyone. I'll just be by myself, which will then lead me to feeling lonely, neglected, unwanted, confused, miserable, sad. Like, do you know what I mean? I've now put myself in a situation I didn't need to be in, and it's like, why do I do this to myself? And this is what I've said. This book was drawing me out because I was just reading it and I was just like, nah, man, like, it's actually not every day draw me out. But all three of those things, they create negative experiences anyways, just as backwards law suggests, because I'm trying to control my life. I'm trying to make sure that nothing bad happens, but I'm making my internal self miserable, even though bad experiences aren't happening around me because I've protected myself. I've now destroyed my own mental health, like my own mentality, so I'm not at peace anymore. So the other day I was watching a video and it was essentially about how we shouldn't let our emotions control us. It was a TED talk, and the scientist was essentially saying that the biggest misconception that we have as humans when it comes to emotions is that our brain has like an emotion circuit board, as though our brains are hardwired to feel emotions, when that's actually not the case. Emotions are not hardwired in our brain. There's no like neuro pathway in our brain that says that's that emotion, that's that emotion. She was essentially saying that emotions are guesses when we're in situations. It's guesses on how to feel. And then I took this, so I've learned about like neuroplasticity before, so I was thinking to myself, okay, cool. So maybe the emotion starts as a guess, but then because we've been in repeated situations, or we repeatedly do things, or we repeatedly feel certain ways, it then becomes a neural pathway. You can correct me if I'm wrong, if you're a scientist, I don't know. But that's just what I was thinking, like, maybe. And then I was just like, rah, so we really do have control over our emotions. And she said that, like, emotions don't control us, we control them, but we allow them to control us. I think I was even reading the other day that emotions actually only last for 90 seconds, but because we feed into it, we end up prolonging it for way longer than it needs to be. And I think I was there's like images and stuff that depict how you should react to emotions, and one of them was saying that you should treat your emotion as a visitor. Cool, it's here now, you can accommodate it, accept it, but also know that it has time to go. It can't stay forever. It's a visitor. It's, you know what I'm saying. So I think the biggest part of healing is, one, accepting that pain is inevitable. Painful emotions will arise, but we have the choice over what we do with those emotions and how we respond to those emotions, those situations, what we focus on, where our focus is shifted, how are we framing that feeling, are we being true to ourselves with that feeling. It's literally like an open wound. I think I wrote that. Yeah, as I said, this is my open diary, so this is the thought process. So it's like an open wound. Say I get like a deep cut and I leave it. I'm more susceptible, is that the word? Susceptible to infections, and I'm losing blood. I'm essentially making my situation worse than what it needed to be. Whereas if I treated the wound, it would heal eventually, because you know that saying that what is it? Healing comes with time. I don't believe that. I really feel like healing is intentional. It can take time to heal, but you need to make the choice to say, okay, I want to heal today. I feel like we become so dismissive of emotions, and so like we just throw it off. One, because of responses to trauma. Two, because we live in a society that tells us that being nonchalant is the way forward. I ain't even gonna lie to you that I have experienced some serious emotions where I've literally sat and prayed to God and be like, God, I want to be nonchalant. Like, I don't want to feel, I don't want to care, I don't, like, I've literally prayed with tears streaming down my face, that, because I don't know, emotions for me are a big one. Like, I really hate emotions so much I can't even express. But yeah, as I was saying, we need to learn to take control of our healing. I think even in the book The Subtle Art of a Very Rude Word, of not giving a very rude word, the author was like, it's okay to feel, but why would you not want to feel? Because the only people that don't feel emotions are psychopaths. And they were like, why would you want to be labeled as one, essentially? Which is very true, because I was just there like, oh wow, I'm mad, am I psycho? Like, what's going on? I was just like, Tisha, like, this book was just hitting all types of places, all types of thoughts, all types of feelings that I've been feeling, and I was just like, oh my gosh, I cannot with this book. But yeah, so there's something called acceptance and commitment therapy, which I think you can actually practice at home without the like, obviously there's levels to this game, yeah, so you might want to, you know, dial a therapist, but I feel like the basics of it you can practice at home. So the first step, learn how to be present with the moment, with the feeling, acknowledging the feeling, accepting the feeling, being objective. So the other day my friend was like to me, I was in a situation, my friend was like to me, Tanisha, be the friend to yourself that you would be to another person. Give yourself the advice that you would give to your friend. Instead of focusing on the emotions you're feeling, look at it as an outsider. And that's essentially what the first step is, looking at your emotions as an outsider. Don't be subjective, don't judge yourself, just allow yourself to be present with that feeling. The second step was again accepting these feelings, accepting that the pain, oh wait, rah. So the first step is actually acknowledgement. The second step is accepting these feelings, accepting that pain is a part of life, as the backwards law would say, accepting that we can't avoid it, so we have to embrace it. And then once you've done that, you start to think about, cool, this is where I am now, where do I want to be? So it's now commitment, it's now setting goals and dreams and having aspirations, and then doing effective things to basically get to those places, get to those goals, get to those dreams, getting yourself away from those feelings and reframing your mindset. So yeah, I feel like this is a very meaningful way to approach healing, to approach emotions, to approach life in general, which takes me to resilience. So resilience, what is it? So resilience is how you bounce back and adapt from whatever life throws at you, whether that be on account of your own actions, so taking accountability, or external factors. So backwards law comes into play here, because with resilience you're essentially relinquishing the controls and learning to control what you can control instead of what you can't control. So you're learning to shift the focus to what's important, learning to accept life for what it is. And I don't know what is going on with my mouth. Wow, can I not talk today? But so now you've addressed that pain is a part of life, that pain is inevitable, and there's no running. What are you gonna do? So essentially, how do you become resilient? So I've just completed an earlier teacher degree, and one of literally we've had a whole lecture or lectures on how to teach children to be resilient, and I'm literally sitting in the lectures like, this ain't just for children, you know, like we can actually apply this to our lives. I think one of the biggest things that I teach, not just teach, that I talk to people about is reframing your mindset. I think during one of my like study sessions or whatever during quarantine for my course, we had to look at ways that teachers teach children about mistakes. And I think one of the ways they framed it was marvelous mistakes. So cool, you've made the mistake, but let's call it a marvelous mistake, because yeah, it was a mistake, but what have we learned? Then that's when you take what you've learned from a situation or from a mistake or from a painful experience, then it becomes marvelous. Yes, it was painful. Yes, it was sad. Yes, you made a mistake, and no one likes to make mistakes, but again, it's inevitable. How do I learn from that? How have I reframed my mindset, in a sense? So I think the biggest thing for me is the lessons I learned from situations and applying it. So if the situation does arise again, how will I then react? How will I train my brain to guess, in a sense, how I should feel towards this situation? Yeah, and then there was also, yeah, as I said, controlling what I can control and getting rid of the what ifs. I think for me, I said I love to think about what if. I think if I do this, what if this happens? What? And you know what? You have to reframe your mindset to think, so what if it does happen? How will I react if that does happen? There's nothing that I can't control everything, and I think that's, whoo, saying that out loud really hurts, but I cannot control everything, and I think that's one of the biggest things we as humans need to let go, because I know I ain't the only one. I feel like everyone has certain things that they love to be in control of, whether that be everything or just certain areas of their life. But you need to learn that we can't control everything, and I think reframing your mindset to understand that you can only control yourself, what you feel, how you feel. You can't control another person's emotions. You can't control how someone's going to react to what you do. You can only control how you bounce back from that, what you've done, and all of that is a part of resilience. Another part of resilience is developing healthy coping mechanisms, finding things that soothe you. So I have a memory box, and sometimes I like to go down memory lane looking at, oh my gosh, I've done this and I went through this and I have this, and it really brings back joy. I have a I have a humidifier, and I like to like play music because my speaker lights up, so it sets like it's word ambience like in the room, and it's just really soothing. Like, you know, you're in your feelings, you're just like, yeah, like this is lovely. I have a journal, so I journal, or things just like talking to friends or whatever, like going for a run. Don't really like that, but going for walks and stuff like that, do you know what I mean? Just doing what you love doing, finding other coping mechanisms. So that could be therapy for you, that could be, I don't even know, research, because I know that there are so many places and things that you can find different coping mechanisms. Oh yeah, I also love candles. Candles are a big thing for me. So yeah, developing healthy coping mechanisms. Then there's also developing problem solving techniques and conflict resolution techniques for situations. So as I said, you've been in a situation, cool, that happened, but if it was to arise again, how would you approach it this time? How would you deal with the conflict? Because I feel like I love to avoid conflict. I hate conflict. I don't do, as I said, I don't do things like that. Like, if I do not need to be in conflict, I will not be in it. If I am in it, boy, it's a bit techy, but we have to deal with it. So how do you then deal with it? How do you deal with it properly, in a healthy way, in a way that doesn't damage your mental health? How do you approach it? Do you let your feelings get involved, or do you just be objective and approach it head on? I think that's a very important thing when you're doing conflict resolution, by the way, and problem solving with situations. Do not allow the emotions to get involved like that. You need to find a balance and literally just be wise with it. Like, you can't, because once you allow those feelings to penetrate anything, that's it. Like, it can go very left. Trust me, it can go very left. But all of the above comes when you learn to accept that things will happen, so you can then process life and live it to its fullest. Essentially, for me, why I made this video, is because so I think it was like a month ago now, you know. I've been meaning to make a video for a very long time, and yeah, so a month ago, a couple of weeks ago, I essentially celebrated not self-harming for a year, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's been a year. I was so excited, and I was like, yeah, I was like, I've come so far. I was proud of myself for like a hot second, and then I remembered. So remember how I said I have a memory box? In that memory box, I actually had suicide notes, you know, poems that I'd written about wanting to kill myself, wanting to be dead, poems that I'd written about my soul being dead, essentially. Like, I remember in GCSE we had to write, like, what was it? I don't remember it. Like, it was like we had to write a spoken word piece or something based on a poem, and I found a poem about a girl committing suicide. I don't think my teacher actually realized, but that girl was me, and I was literally so into that poem. I actually got a very good grade because, wow. Then there were diary entries from like 2014, whatever, that I was reading. I was thinking, like, guys, I used to sleep with a knife under my pillow, and I'd forgotten about all these things. So naturally, like, when I go into this memory box, I'd see those notes, I just put them to the side and just go through my note. Like, I'd act like it wasn't there. Again, I was being dismissive. I'm dismissing my past traumas, dismissing my past pain. And I was just thinking to myself, on the day when it was like a year of no self-harm, I was like, if we don't let this go now, are we ever gonna let it go? I don't even know what my emotional attachment was to those notes, those diary entries, those poems. I have no idea. But it's like, it was time to deal with it. It was time to let it go. It was time to accept that this has happened, and we can no longer hide that this has happened. Like, yeah, sure, I've spoken about things happening to me, but talking about being suicidal, like even when I used to go to therapy day, the first question I asked is, so this week have you thought suicide? I'd always say no. Like, always. I never wanted to accept that. I never wanted to accept that I actually wanted to die. Like, I've never wanted to accept that that was a part of my life. Do you know what I mean? So it was like, okay, we're going to face this head on, and this is how we're going to go forward. This is how we're going to heal. This is how we're going to build resilience. This is how we're going to reframe everything. That was a point in my life, but we've come so far from that point in our lives that when I find myself in similar situations where before I felt like I wanted to die, I've now reframed my mindset to learn how to deal with those situations, so I can continue to heal. I can continue to live life to its fullest. So yeah, so I literally videoed the whole experience. So I'm now going to, enter that. But before I play that clip, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, or if you haven't, I hope you've at least learnt something from this video. If you've gotten to the end, I hope that we can all just grow and heal together. Again, I'm always here to talk. I will leave my contact details in the description box below. I'll link the videos that I was speaking about and the book that I was speaking about in the description box below. I actually have the book as a PDF, so if you want it, please contact me and I will send that to you. So yeah, remember to like, comment, subscribe and share, and have a blessed day. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Hi guys, you know what, so today we're going to be doing something very special on camera. So today marks a year since I last relapsed, since I last self-harmed. And it's mad because every time I've said today marks a year, I've always gone back and done it, but I feel like this time's different. Like, I'm not gonna go back. And throughout this video it's so mad, why is everything happening now? But anyway, throughout this video I'm essentially going to be burning all my suicide notes. It's mad because when I read them, there's 2012, 2014. In 2012 I was sleeping with a knife under my pillow. I even wrote a poem about killing myself. I wrote about good night Tanisha, my soul being dead. And I won't even lie, like, there's still times like that, especially now when I feel like that. I can feel the tears in my eyes. But I feel like you need to learn to let go of pain, and I can't keep saying I've healed unless I let go. My friends just said nodded in the background. I can actually feel the tears. Oh my gosh, I can't keep saying I've healed if I don't let go. So today I'm going to let go, and I'm actually going to rip the rivers up, and then we're gonna burn it. We got this. We can do this. It feels disgusting because honestly, it's scary because sometimes I don't know who I am on the other side of pain, but I know that the person on the other side of pain is an amazing person. The person that's going to come from more healing is an amazing person. Obviously, I've unlearned behaviors and I've healed in many areas, but life is a journey, and I'm very scared of the journey, especially with this whole new normal. But what? We're gonna do this. This is what we're gonna do. So here I am, just ripping up paper. Oh, don't cry on camera. I'm a big girl, you know. Okay, because it's really windy and it's been raining all day, I need to do this really quickly. But we're gonna do this. Why is my man staring at me in ends? Are you well? I'm joking, guys. I'm not like that for real. Next you know, I've done your dance. I'm joking. You have to make jokes. Okay, it's in the pot. I'm scared of matches, you know. But here we go. You can't be scared no more. Did I just strike the thingy? Mm-hmm. Guys, don't laugh at me. I'm not ready. Okay, let's try that again. This might not go as planned yet. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Okay. I've done it. Why is it not burning? Do you know, I think I might just have to hold the paper and just burn it. I'm ready. Oh, hold on, idiot. Do you know what? It's because it's windy. But guys, we ripped it up, yeah. That's good enough for now. Do you want to do it? My friend's gonna vent it for me. Cool. See, I don't know what's going on. Nah. Oh my gosh, guys, it's burning. I'm actually crying. Oh my gosh, wait. Like, guys, it's burning. Like, oh my gosh, all my trauma and pain. It's like, look. Oh my gosh. I can't believe it. I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm okay. It doesn't feel real.